Hey guys, welcome back to some World of Warcraft. So crazy enough, it has been about 10, maybe 12 years since we've been on here. We actually started World of Warcraft way back when, right after the beta test when it came out, played with a bunch of my real life friends. Some of them still do play World of Warcraft. They told me to check it out, see what it's all about. Now in here, I did play a Paladin. Originally, way back going on the Alliance side, I did play a Paladin. That is the hero of choice. Right now, we are on the Horde side, which again is a little bit different. There's two different factions and a lot of other heroes. And you can see, just looking at the skills and abilities, looking at everything that we have here, there's a crazy amount of stuff. When you talk about a game that has been around for 21 years, now it is going on 21 years. This game is still running. This game still has a ton of players in it. Not as much as it did with the peak, but overall, pretty cool to see. So I just want to run around in here, and I did a couple of my quests a little bit earlier, and we have everything in here is very, very old school. Now this is a wide open world. You can see we have some red mobs that are flying around everywhere. There's a ton of bosses, a ton of raids. There are a crazy, crazy amount of things that are actually within World of Warcraft. If you have played, again, it has been a long time. So when I got in here first, I looked at the talent tree. This is crazy. When you look at the talents, guys, the Paladin, it used to be just the Paladin, and then, of course, the protection tree. Now we have a multitude of trees, a multitude of abilities. There is some pretty crazy, crazy depth with this game overall. So let's hop in. And honestly, when you're going in here, it's pretty interesting to see because how much of this I still remember and how much of this was just kind of, hey, looking at the cooldowns, looking at what is going on, and making sure that we have everything kind of up at the same time. This game, again, crazy amount of depth. What's going on, Evelyn? Thanks for joining us. Like I said, I wanted to hop in here. I wanted to see kind of what this is about. A lot of players said to come check it out, see what it is. So they have a lot of cinematics built in here. Old man games, old man, but not quite AFK. That's the big thing is in here, guys. This is super, super far from AFK anything. This game has, again, a crazy, crazy, crazy amount of depth to it. And overall, going through here, it's a lot of time. That is the one reason why, originally, why I quit playing World of Warcraft was it was just the time that it took to go through here. Because if you want to be competitive, which we were very, very competitive, again, a long time ago, but we were actually playing, this on a daily basis, long before AFK Arena, long before, honestly, a majority of the mobile games even existed. Because if you remember, I played Ultima Online. If you're unfamiliar with Ultima Online, that is actually another game that is very old school based on Ultima, if you ever played Ultima. But overall, it was something that we did look and we did play for an extended amount of time. From Ultima, we actually came into Dark Age of Camelot. And Dark Age of Camelot was another one that was a just multitude of years that we played that game. And then that led essentially for my whole group of friends to come into and start playing World of Warcraft. When you look at professions, when you look at just what this game has, it's crazy. It is very, very crazy with the skill rotations, with, again, kind of the depth of everything that they have. I know it's not quite, hey, I set my formation and I just kind of forget it. There's a lot of things to do in here and a lot of different ways to do it. Different specs, different classification. PvP is a whole different monster when it comes to a game like this because of the intensity of the game itself and how literally you're fighting so many other people in real time. Again, it's not AFK Arena. It's not kind of the set it and forget it mentality. It is actively playing the game and actively playing really in a really deep build of it all. It is kind of going through here doing quests. Now, right now, I know there's not a ton going on because I'm literally just going around fighting mobs. You can see all these chests that we're doing a couple different quests. And the quests kind of overlap, again, kind of building experience. And I like it because you build up one hero. That is always something that kind of drew me to this game, is through all the time, the effort, the progression. It is literally building up one hero at a time. Now, in here, I play a protection paladin. You can do retribution, you can do healing. There is a multitude of things that players can do, or you can do with whatever you want to build, however you want to build them. Even when you start getting into kind of splitting the specs different ways, there are 3 or 4 different ways to play pretty much every hero or every class, and there are a ton of classes in here. Depending what you want to do, if you want to be a damage dealer, if you want to be a healer, if you want to be really whatever you want to be in here, it is. And that is something, Quaden, that it is a lot more complicated. That's the reason why when it comes to being very in-depth, it's a game that is not at all for the faint of heart, because it does take an extended amount of time. There is so much time in here that you can spend essentially going through, building things out, and even looking at, again, talent specifications, everything like that. You also do have a whole entire thing, which is achievements. Again, these achievements are old. I mean, legacy achievements. These are where I really, again, playing such a long time ago. And it's crazy, even guilds. So thinking in here, so even when I swap up my guild is still the same guild, which was condemned. You can see in here with some of the different things in here, but looking at some of the heroes or some of the ranks, even looking at the zone 15 years ago, there are players in here from 15 years ago that are still within the guild. I'm guessing they haven't purged anything, because literally they are still there. And it is a crazy amount of time. I like how it's open world, though. How we can go. You do get mounts. You have ground mounts. You have flying mounts. You have a lot of different things in here that are just kind of crazy. I mean, it is just in depth with, again, what you can do. And it's fun. This is a game I played for probably about 10 years. I would probably say about 10 years. Looking at the age, might have been about 10 or 12 years ago that I stopped playing this game. Again, it was just kind of the time consumption. How do you even stay focused on that stuff? Oh, it's easy. This is an oldie but a goodie, guys. This is something we've done this so many times for so many years. It's a lot of fun. We used to be ranked in some of the top players within the world with the ranks, with some of the first kills, with some of the old school builds that we had once upon a time. There was so many different things about it. And honestly, it is a pretty fun game. It is pretty fun overall. The whole right side is gone. 15 years I played Lineage. Yeah, Lineage is another one. There's a few that I have seen with players that have played just some crazy length with some of these games. I know EverQuest was another one. I know a lot of players played EverQuest forever. That literally, like, EverQuest is another game. Again, very similar to what we see with World of Warcraft. Just the amount of time that players played in the different kind of level. I mean, it's a different game. Guys, it is really a different world. When you look at some of the cinematics, when you look at some of kind of what made the game, it's kind of crazy. It is crazy. Again, kind of thinking of how in-depth it gets. Finishing out quests, of course, they're going to give us some resources. Pick our whatever we want right here for our rewards. What do we got? So level 311, we got some bindings. Also have a ring. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the ring. That gains us a level right there, level 59. And I believe right now you can go to 80. This is like League of Legends, right? Not really at all, Quandin. League of Legends is kind of a heavy PvP. Maybe kind of the PvP aspect of this game might be a little bit similar to what we see with like a League of Legends. But this has just a crazy amount of mechanics. When I look at games, when I think of, everything that we have with AFK Arena, when we were playing Raid, when we were playing a bunch of different games, honestly, when it comes to the mechanics in a game like this, there's very few that I would ever think are kind of on this level of the game itself. When you start getting into the mechanics of boss fights, now remember, boss fights in this game now are 20, I think it's 25 man. So when we started World of Warcraft, all of the raids were 40-man raids, going into Molten Core, going into Blackwing Lair, going into a lot of different parts. They were very high-level raids, and you had to really focus and build and have 40 people together. We used to use Ventrilo, if you remember. I believe that was what we used before. But again, that was kind of trying to get people not only of the right classification, but having the right ones with essentially the right skills. GTA Vice City. This is like legal. Yeah. GTA Vice City, Age of Empires. Again, I feel like the level, the different level that we have with this game is just kind of crazy. The storyline's intense too. Going through here and being able to finish, I think that is it. The Akena is slain. So that is dead. Got to see on the map. If we pull up the map, it'll show us where we got to go. There we go. Going all the way back to town. We can use a Hearthstone. We could return to town. They also do have flying mounts. And again, the 3D being able to look over here. This is my Azura Drake. This is one, again, of the old school mounts. We're getting attacked in the air. Flying back to turn in our quests. It's kind of crazy. What's going on? Nikitas? We got some, the ha-ha-ha-has going on. So us set to the, here we go. We got to take out another mob right here. Don't think it's going to happen, though. That's okay. We can always try. We're a protection paladin. We like to go in all face first. Got to get back to my cooldowns. Got to get back to, and I even remember when we never had this, this power, this little holy power meter right over here. We can take down some pretty tough mobs. We also have the ability to heal ourselves. So it's kind of cheating as a paladin. A Lucius build. Yeah, this is a Lucius build. I'd say this is a little stronger than Lucius because I can just heal myself. Again, it's kind of cheating in here. I have to make sure we're using our shield. You can see our cooldowns right here on the side, making sure cooldowns are up. Again, rotating through skills and abilities just based on what we have. And there we go. Took him down just like that. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. So there we go. So boom, got the big monster that's out. Finally, cinematics in here are crazy. They are absolutely crazy when it comes to cinematics. Let's go ahead and talk to this one. What do we got? We have a chest piece and we have some shoulders. 325, and it gave me, guys, I'm so far behind in this game. Again, without years of playing this, you're going to miss, of course, a ton of different stuff. It looks like we have to visit the altar right back here. Let's see. So there we go. So visit the altar, and I'm hoping we gain a couple more levels. Now they're giving us leveling bonus experience, so it is going through here a lot quicker than normal, just for the fact that we are getting a really big bonus experience in here, a really big buff. So there's our war resources. Let's go ahead and accept this one. And we are on to the next quest, just like that. How big is the map? Oh, Quandon, you don't want to see this map. I'll show you the map in a minute, and I'll kind of break it down for you with the map from where we know. When you think of how big is the map, bigger than you'd ever imagine. And then even think of bigger than you'd imagine, probably even bigger than that. When you think of the raids and the time and the effort in having a game for 21 years, going on 21 years, it's kind of crazy. I'm following this guy right now, the war song. He's probably going to have me hop in this cart. That's what we've been kind of doing in this zone. Yeah, be afraid. Be afraid. So there's our war resources. We'll go ahead and equip. So we're going to go ahead and write on this. So let me look at the map. Let's check out the map, guys. So this is the world. So when you think, Quandon, of the world itself, there are 4 worlds. Within 4 worlds, boom, you have all of these zones within each world itself. Within each world, you have different sections. Within different sections, you have different experiences and different lands within those sections. So when you start breaking it down further and further and further and further and further, when we start looking, even going back to the world, the Shadowlands have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sections. The sections are broken into subsections. When you look at how big and how really massive this game is. So when I started playing, we had Azeroth. So we had right here, the Eastern Kingdoms. We had in Kalimdor, we had, that's it. Those were the only two. Since then, and through the expansions, this was the Panda expansion, which that's when I stopped playing. So looking at Pandora, this is where I actually stopped playing the game itself. But when we start looking at everything we have in here, Northrend, this was the Lich King. When the Lich King came out, this was a massive, massive part in the Lich King. Even in here, we did have Nax. We had a bunch of different places. But in here, this is when I played. When I originally, and again, we were super competitive in a lot of the content. Getting tier 1 in Molten Core, getting to tier 2, raiding Onyxia's Lair, looking at going into, Blackwing Lair, a couple places like that. Then we started getting into Noxoramus, which was T3. And when you think about something that is very hard, you talk about difficulty. So the original World of Warcraft, when you started playing, getting into Noxoramus, which was the tier 3 that you could go into, there were roughly about 2% of all players that ever got into Noxoramus, not only killing a boss, but actually getting in there. And even looking at the quests, there are quests forever. There's quests in every zone. There's different completions for different zones. There are, again, when you think of the depth of a game, I don't know any games that have more of a depth. When you look right here, guys, we're on the back of this wagon. This is how we've been going through and really seeing the land. You can look at everything. You can interact with everything. There are so many things to do within this game. What was the best rank in any part of WoW? So when we were doing early Noxoramus, or honestly, early PvP, we were ranked in the very, very top. I played competitive within World of Warcraft, even World. We were at times about 26, 28, maybe 35 in the top ranked guilds in the world when we were playing World of Warcraft. Even we had some server first where we were the first guild to actually kill some of the bosses. We did pop up some server first again to be competitive on a bigger part where we used to play this, and we used to play it all the time. This was literally the go-to for everything that we played. Guys, this game was a ton of time. It was literally what I kind of grew up playing. This was my only game. And again, thinking about way back when, Ultima Online, we played Ultima Online for a number of years. I would probably say Ultima Online. I'm trying to think, probably 3-4 years we played Ultima Online. And then we moved to Dark Age of Camelot. Now, Dark Age of Camelot, of course, was a entire different monster. It had 3 different factions. There was a lot of stuff that you could do, which we can hop on some of our steeds here. I think they're just gonna follow us. Yeah, they'll just follow us quicker. I think, there we go, reach level 60. So we completed our objective, finally on level 60. Now, when I left, I was on 70. I think I was on 70, so I don't know about the reset or the restart or exactly when it went on with this. Like I said, though, we were not playing this for a long time. Let's go ahead and collect up a satchel. Again, there's things that are kind of laying around. What do we have to do? Search the runes. So where, there we go. So we'll follow our quest right here, giving us another 4,000 experience. And we have a few. So Creeping Death, and then we do have Nature's Remedy. So 2 more quests. And majority of this, guys, you just follow the quest. There are so many different parts. There's so many different things in here. Yes, it is 100% follow the quest, guys. That is what made, and honestly, that is what a lot of this is about. Even when you start getting into the higher level content, when you start getting a lot further, the quests get a lot more in depth. The quests kind of go and carry kind of one by one with the quests that are going through here. And I feel like some of these, when we start again looking at our quest log, we have a ton. I don't even know what are the really old quests that we have in here. Even thinking of some of these, like this is a storyline dungeon. I'm going to abandon this one. If there's a point, maybe I'm going to pick it up later, but that's okay because I want to do the quests that are very relevant right now. And it got to a point where, again, thinking way back when, that we pretty much finished all of the quests. So we were at the point of kind of maxing out and finishing everything. And even with the spec that I am, I can pull a lot of different things in here and really just drop my AoE, sit here, kind of drop back and tank, because directions, if they are behind you, guess what? You're not going to attack them. It's a lot more of a real life kind of survival where if it is behind you, like I said, you're not going to pick it up. Are you able to beat the game, or is it impossible? It is impossible. There is no end to World of Warcraft. So even when you think of the very big end game raids, they have gear sets. So when you start going to getting, essentially it is the progression. Now we've talked about this before. When it comes to AFK Arena, it is really, really big and really imperative, the kind of the continued progression towards the goal. It's something that I feel like, you know, AFK Arena did incredibly well for a certain amount of time. And then we started getting to the point where a lot of players couldn't make much progression, or you couldn't make progression very fast because they kind of forgot about that piece of it. And that's where, when I think of collections, Quaden, when I think of a lot of different things within AFK Arena, I wish it was the continued progression. I wish it was, you know, towards the common goal of building a specific relic or building a specific collection. I feel like there could be a lot of different parts and a lot more things that could be focused around, again, kind of that whole progression of, you know, the common goal of being able to finish everything in its entirety. So in here, it looks like we have a bunch of birds, and some of the landscaping, they fight each other. So even here, you've seen the birds that were fighting pretty much everything else. We got some scorpions in here. We got some burns. They should collab with AFK Arena. I don't think we've ever done a collab. I do not think that World of Warcraft has ever done a collaboration. I don't even know the possibility in that. But most of these should be kind of auto picked up. There's auto loot options. There are so many things in here. Even when it comes to, hey, if you want to go out and fish in this game, you can go out and fish. If you want to go out and you want to mine stuff, you can mine ore, you can craft some of the best stuff that you can craft. Because right now in my hero, again, just specifically on how strong and how my hero is a jewel crafter and a blacksmith. When it comes to professions, very hard because there's no one to farm anything. I'd watch us starting as a noob in WoW series. When you start off very easy, it's just quest. Honestly, when you're going through here, the fun of this game and really the big part of this game is when you start getting into doing raids. That is the big thing. When you start doing raids, that is the reason why players play World of Warcraft. When you start getting into dungeons, when you start getting into raids, it is really the big part in the game-changing part that makes it, again, kind of worthwhile. Because you can run some of the places, even when we start going in here, let's say Group Finder, you can randomly find some dungeons, you can do pre-made groups, you can do a ton of different things. If I want to come in here and I want to be a leader, if I want to be a tank, a healer, or a damage dealer, there are a lot of dungeons, there are a lot of raids. You should make a series on a new account, would 100% watch it and would decide if I want to play it. We can. So again, I wanted to see what this was all about and what it kind of looked like. This is the oldest hero by far. When we think of heroes, and I'm kind of wondered and I'm kind of scared, let me look, and I want to show, because World of Warcraft had a slash played, and I don't know if we can see it. I think it's behind my computer. Total time played 123 days, 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 53 seconds. So I have played World of Warcraft, or I've played this specific character for 123 days. Again, this is a character that is one that I raided with, that we've raided with for a ton of time. This isn't, who am I in combat with? If I'm in combat, I can't mount. But 124 hours, 123 hours, this is a hero that we started, and originally the Horde did not have paladins. So again, when we started, the Horde had shamans, and then I don't even know where this one is at. 2 glittering sapphires. I'm gonna have to find these. But additionally, when we started, the Horde did not have paladins, and the Alliance did not have shamans. Now, since everything else, that has long changed, and there is actually a new, there we go. So there is actually a new faction in here. I wish AFK Arena had playtime. Yes, it would be crazy if they had playtime. But what I'm thinking though is there is a new faction in here, and I'm almost wondering if I might try one. I might go in here and build out or try the new faction just to see what it's like. I might actually try that button to see exactly what it looks like, or really what the new faction looks like, because I haven't seen it. I think it's a dragon faction, which, you know what? Just like AFK Arena, it's a draconic faction. So I don't know if World of Warcraft stole it, or if AFK Arena stole it. I don't know, because the new one is a draconic faction. So it's pretty interesting to see. So we got a girdle in here, and then we do have feet. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the feet. Oh, we got to finish. Deliver the stone. You can see it's right there. We have a treasure chest as well on the map that we could go ahead and pick up. I'm not sure where exactly it is. Looks like it's right there. Let's hop in. Boom. We're going to be in the big, big middle of all of these enemies. This might result in a death, but that's okay, because we can try as a protection paladin. You can see I'm taking a lot of damage in here. We have, I believe that's my ability to go kind of immune. Yeah, we'll throw a heal in there. It's kind of cheap, again, knowing that it is a protection paladin. You can do a lot of things that other classes can't. Even here, you know, with my shield, I'm probably going to die in this one again. I'm thinking we're getting through a lot of these, though. I need a heal. I need a heal. There we go. I think I got one left. Is there any stats, places you can see, like how many total deaths? I don't know if they show that. That's a good question. I don't know if they do, if they show the stats that way. That's a good question. That's a good question. I can look in just a minute. We can go in here again. We completed the quest. I'm wondering if, let's see, deaths. I wonder if it shows. Death. No, I didn't think so. I was going to say, I know the playtime is something that a lot of players have really focused on. So there we go. So we do get some boots. City of Secrets. So we made progression in there. We do get an achievement out of it. They give us a few more quests, and we were already on 61. Again, we got to go to 80. So even here is, let me hop in. Where's she at? I need to go back to the priest. Let me hop in my bag and do my recall. So in here, you actually get a stone, which is right here. This will herstone me back to the inn, which will allow me to gain experience. And I want to log out and show you, we can hop on a new hero. Button, we can hop on, and I can show you kind of what it looks like. So even here, we can escape. It will exit the game. This will should take us to the loading screen. Or maybe it took it all the way out. That's okay. This is the BattleNet. So this is where, and as you can see, WoW Classic, we have Hearthstone in here. We have StarCraft. We have Diablo. This is where it houses all of the games in the entirety. Let me see. So logging in, these are the old school heroes, which a lot of these, guys, it has been a crazy, crazy, crazy amount of time. So this was my Druid. This was my Shadow Priest. So looking at created character, character created to switch realms. Nope, I want to continue on this realm. And here we go. So this is the creation. So like I said earlier, you have your alliance and you have your horde. So this is kind of the build. Now it looks like a lot of these I don't have access to right now. So I'm not going to build out. I'm not going to be able to build out some of these. To unlock this race, reach level 40, visit the Ogar Emissary. So there are a few in here, but you'll notice right down here, this is the Draconic faction. So it looks like there's a dragon side, and then there is a human side. So this is Drathar. Infused with the magic of dragon flights, the Drathar combine the resourcefulness of mortals with the power of dragons. So looking at kind of the traits that they have in here, use your wings to glide through the air, soar from high places, okay, similar to a dragon. Utilize skyriding to empower your soars and take to the skies more often. Knock enemies away with your wings, increase mastery, and find additional rare regents when gathering. So you can see kind of building them and what they have. And even on the bottom here, warrior, hunter, mage, rogue, priest, warlock. And then, of course, in here we have Evoker, I have never seen. Demon Hunter, I haven't really seen that much of either. Same with Death Knight, because when I stopped playing, the monk was out. So the monk is a multifunctional, really multifunctional class in there, because you can tank, you can heal, you can melee. You can see we have all of the different ones in there, and all of these have something special. So depending on exactly what race you're going with. So if I want to be an orc, if I want to be an undead, all of them have special abilities. So based on who you build, they do have special abilities. Now, I would like to see some of these. Reach level 40, then visit the Ogar Emissary to recruit the allied race. Some of these I've never seen. So literally like Nightborn, High Mountain Tauren, a different orc, the Earthen, and then Valpera. I've never seen any of these. I have never seen. Yeah, Lith, it was crazy. I stopped playing during Miss of Pandaria. Who's the best? They all have their own strengths and weaknesses. Now, that is the big thing. So, traditionally, if you're looking at World of Warcraft, tank roles and healing roles have to be in every formation, period. When you're looking at raids, when you're looking at instances, when you're looking at dungeons, when you're looking at mythic, when you're looking at everything, you have to have a tank, you have to have a healer. The other three classifications, because you run it in 5-man, but the other three classifications can be any combination of these, because you can have substats in there, which is kind of crazy, because even looking in here, like you can have a priest that is a healer. You can also have a shadow priest, which is a damage dealer. Warlock, you can have a summoner, you can have a fire or shadow magic. There is a bunch of different ways to build all of these, which is kind of crazy. And then, of course, we have the paladin, we have a druid. Again, tank, healer, range damage, or melee. A lot of players like to run something like a druid because you can fill any single role, which is going to be Quaden, very, very dependent on what you want to do and what gear you have available. That is the big thing. Again, Demon Hunter, I'm not sure right there is a Demon Hunter. This looks like Illidan. Again, I remember running through the temple and running, this is totally Illidan, which was crazy because he had the twin glaives, which was, when it looks at rogues like what Lith was, super broken. Even rogue, melee damage, very cool. Again, depending on what type of rogue you want to be, what specification. Even here is a rogue draconic. It's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. That's the reason why, going in here and seeing this, why so many players, played this for so long. I had the twin glaives. We had a couple rogues in our guild that had the twin glaives. We did not. A lot of them look derpy. Yeah, it depends what you play. And again, you can even go into a further customization to whatever you want to build. There are a lot of different ways that you can change exactly how they look. If you want tattoos, if you want no tattoos, there are so many different ways to customize when you're going in here and what you're building. For me, again, looking at what we have here, here's a low-level Demon Hunter. Again, this is kind of when we came back. They updated a lot of different things. I was a tank with Kiv, and I'm wondering so this was my old school. So this was my original Paladin. So this is when the Alliance only had Paladins and the Horde did not. Here's my Hunter, which was Pathmark. Palmarosa was my Mage. Vakara was my Warrior. Looking at this, guys, very, very dual-wielding weapons. Dual-wielding axes in here. Kind of crazy. I had my Rogue. This was my Warlock. Now, I created all of these different heroes, even looking at, Zumi, looking at Rylon. This was when the Death Knights came out, which again were a lot further in the game. Even looking at monks, this was my monk, which again, monks can be healers. They can be damaged. We have a bunch of different ones. 2 weapons. Yeah, this is an ability. When you look at a warrior, they have ability to dual wield 2-handed weapons. It's kind of crazy, but there is a specification where you can dual wield 2-handed weapons. And again, looking at a lot of these, this is just a lot of nostalgia, guys. This is a crazy, crazy, crazy amount of time that we played this. And like I was saying, a lot of these we built, and a lot of these we have some very, very old achievements on here that we essentially, a lot of the achievements don't even exist anymore. This was one, again, this was one of my very first one. And I'm wondering, you know what, let me hop on here. And I'm wondering what the played is on here. Makes me want to play again. We'll never do it. So I know, Lith, and that's my worry. I signed up for one single month and only one single month because I knew that it's kind of crazy. We haven't seen you in a while. Get a fresh start. And it's going through here. There's a couple with the talent trees. Do we want to start with Stormwind? I don't even know what we were doing in here. Let me look at this because I want to do the slash played, and I'm kind of wondering what this looks like. 81 days. So 81 days in here. So it is quite a bit more. Now, I remember, again, guys, when we logged off like 12 years ago, these were all the replicas. So we were getting, and I believe this is when Transmog came out. I think this is actually, again, a lot of these 6 uncollected appearances. Looking at, and I remember, can't we click this to see what it looks like? Yeah, you can look at the weapons and see what they're looking at. You can link an outfit. I want to see what we have on here because there are a lot of different looks in here. So guild, let me see. I don't think we have a guild. No, see, we're not in a guild anymore. This used to be way, way, way back when. This was one of the paladins. Again, I was a holy paladin. If you remember, or if you're make a dragon, we can make a dragon in a minute. But ultimately, way back when we started building, and look at this, guys. We still have brutal seasoned gladiator stuff in here. All of the old reputations and all of the legacy stuff. We are still looking in here. Look, polished war stuff. I know they updated a lot of these. Even here, the Tabard of Frost had a lot of stuff. So let me log off here. And again, I think let's log out. I don't want to exit the game. It's going to give us the cooldown because we're not in a camp. But going in here, when WoW originally came out, paladins were only healers. There was not a way to make, and essentially there was no way to be able to tank as a protection paladin. There was no way to do damage as a retribution paladin. Both of those were kind of non-existent at the very beginning until it got a lot further. So I'm going to build a horde in here. Let's do, you know what? Let's do a female. We have an invoker. This is one that I haven't seen. I don't know what the class trial is, but let's customize here. So you can customize. It looks like both of them. Yeah, so we can go through, we can randomize a name. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out what we have for a name in here because the randomizer is kind of crazy when it comes to the Draconic. And I believe, if I remember correctly, you can't change, you can't change it. So here we can change all of the horns, which that looks pretty awesome as jagged. Horn color, we can do black, we can do blue, we can do a lot of different horns in here. A blue Hildwyn. We want blue Hildwyn. Let's see, blue Hildwyn. There we go. Blue Hildwyn. Jewelry, we have none. Oh, you can put jewels on there. That's pretty cool as well. Small fin. What do we have? A large fin. I mean, you could spend a lot of time. I don't even want to worry about it. I don't want to go in there. So there's a level 10 evoker. Let's enter the world. And again, this is something I have not seen before, guys. We haven't done this before. I want to see what it looks like with an evoker. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is. It's going to go into the cinematics. So when you think of World of Warcraft, cinematics are crazy. They put so much time and effort. When we think of the cinematics for like an AFK arena, it might be 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute and a half. This game has cinematics for a ton of stuff. There is a crazy, crazy amount of cinematics. And looking here, what do we have? Living Flame, Azura Strike, Wing Buffet, Tail Swipe, and then War Bands. Let's see. So just like we did, we will accept our first quest right here. And I'm assuming that Disintegrate. So we're casting Disintegrate. There we go. The ally has been weakened. You can see we have a couple dots in here that we have to awaken a few of these heroes. This is essentially where we woke up. Press jump to glide. Where's our glide? So let's jump. There's our glide. This is what they were talking about, to be able to glide. Where do we got to go? Where do we got to wake these folks up? We can see the little dots right here. It looks like there's another one, maybe back in here. Yep. Going through here, we'll break through. It looks like it caved in a little bit. So we can't go that way. There we go. Looks like there are bones. So found that. Yeah, he is long dead, unfortunately. Looks like my S1 PvP troll build. Oh, yeah. Way back when, again, PvP, we used to just absolutely crush PvP, guys. PvP used to be such a huge thing. So there we go. So we got both those. It looks like we're going to probably redeem, or we're going to follow in here. It looks like we have a couple more to awaken. And it looks like they're all kind of gathering around here. Looks like we do have some mobs over here that are kind of pathing and wandering. There we go. So we have our start to our dragons. Boom, break him out. That is going to be our first quest completed. Now we got a bunch of us. There are a bunch of us. WoW. Again, I wanted to hop on here, guys. Disintegrate. There we go. Tear and blast, blue magic, inflicting spell frost damage and slowing the enemy. So there is a new ability. And it looks like acquire weapon and armor from supplies. Picking up another quest right in here. So now I believe we got to fight these. It shows us in the bottom right that we have to kill 4 of these constructs. I don't know if Invoker is going to be kind of like a flame. Right there, we just kind of shot a flame. Now we did see some rocks falling. Let me see. So we are almost a caster. Yeah, so caster-wise, I mean, that's doing quite a bit of damage. We picked up, it looks like a rock. Where do we got to take these rocks? Let's pick up, I think we got some loot right here. Oh, we got to fight another one. We got a knockback. Yeah, we got to set up some of the auto stuff in here. What do we got right here? Construct slain, bundle of rations collected. And then it looks like we have a locked library. So let's see the rations. Where are the rations? Right here it shows us 47. They're giving us a little bit of a cinematic right there. Yeah, it looks like there's a couple different ability to kind of do close up. It looks like these are glowing a little bit. Where are the rations? There we go. It's the big chest. Boom. We got one of the decaying rations. What do we got? We got a couple more around here. We didn't grab a weapon, though. Essence is surging. Use spells such as Disintegrate, which will naturally come back over time. Yeah, we're taking down these guys pretty quick. Got to turn on auto loot. And again, it's been a long time, guys, since we've been in here playing World of Warcraft. It's cool, though. Yeah, it looks like a mage and close up. The combination of both of them. Mages are brutal. Even when we use the combination of kind of the 1 and 2. There's our weapon rack. Which I'm assuming is going to give us a stack of weapons. Let's go ahead and turn both these quests in. We are on level. They started us at level 10. So a little bit easier, a little bit through the basic side. Here is our camp. We can even scroll out to see exactly what we're doing in here. Quest number 1 is done. Quest number 2 is going to yield us, I believe this was a weapon. There we go. We get a weapon. This is going to give us a Drake. Back to the symptomatic. So funny enough, Lith, is I got a message from a couple buddies that still play World of Warcraft. Unfortunately, is there no hotkeys? Yes, you can hotkey everything in here with numbers. You can bind stuff on top of binding stuff. There are a crazy, stupid amount of hotkeys that you can literally do with your entire keyboard. Even the mouse, where my mouse has like 7 different buttons, you can hotkey everything to your mouse. But what made me decide to do this, like I said, there's a lot of players that actually somebody popped up, but a lot of people are still playing World of Warcraft like they have. Even looking at the guild that I am in, my regular guild that we went through and played with for a long time, they are still very active. And when I looked them up, when I kind of hopped in, they are still pretty active. So we can go here. This is going to glide us down. Again, we don't want to press jump to fall while gliding. But there was unfortunately someone that had passed away. So in our group of friends, Lith, there was someone that we kind of grew up with, that we played AFK, or excuse me, World of Warcraft a while with. And unfortunately, I seen a message. Yeah, I guess for a number of years they had cancer, and I just heard, hey, so and so passed away, and I received a message from old school message boards, and they were like, hey, have you tried World of Warcraft since that you left? And me, no, I hadn't played it, and I hadn't played it for a long time. So I wanted to hop in and see. They're like, you should consider coming back because it's pretty cool. And I don't know what I have to do to these. So they are injured. I don't know if there's a point where like I have to heal them or if there's something I have to do. Wasn't paying a ton of attention. Rescue or heal within the living flame. But don't think I have any band-aids. I don't think I have anything in here other than what we got. Equipping the weapon. There we go. So we do have the weapon equipped. We have a couple other things, again, that they just kind of gave us for free. But I'm wondering how I have to heal these. We can always go in here. It'll kind of break down what you have to do. Your skills are needed. Evoker. It's crumbling. We have to get to the passage first. We have to get in the chamber beyond. Tend to their wounds. Destroy any foes. Again, I'm assuming I just have to come up and kind of click them. Or if there's some other way to actually tend to their wounds. I didn't know if maybe Living Flame will do it. Oh, there we go, guys. So guess what? The Living Flame will heal the dragons. Boom. There we go. 205. AFK is also a 24/7 job. Not really. So honestly, AFK Arena for me, I don't play much outside of probably maybe 30 minutes a day. I don't put a crazy amount of time and effort into AFK Arena for it to be a full-time job. For me, there's no way. There's no way. If it was taking that much, if it was that much of a time commitment, I definitely wouldn't. Plus, they changed Rogue beyond where I'd recognize it. Have you seen the skill tree, Lith? You want to talk about unrecognizable, guys? Lith, did you see the skill tree when I showed it to you? Because it's kind of off the chain. It is kind of crazy with the skill tree that they have. Talk about unrecognizable. It's pretty impressive with how much further and how much more in depth this got. Yeah, I mean, look at this thing. So we don't have the skill tree yet. Yeah, I mean, there is 80 levels, and now not only are you a rogue, but you have the rogue specialization, and you have the class specification on top of the regular rogue specification. It's pretty insane. But another thing that popped up that I was kind of wondering is, it's funny because if you remember being a rogue, your iterations, everything you had to kind of run in there. On the PTR, there is a patch that is coming that is single button rotation. So you're going to be able to set your rotation based on the skills and abilities you have. And within that rotation, it is going to be one button and only one button. That is it for the entire rotation. It's going to be a one button rotation. They've been testing it on the PTR. I went down the rabbit hole of seeing a lot of different videos in there, but it was crazy. There we go. So we reached level 11. We can see we have a lot of our little fellow dragons coming out. And I'm wondering, there we go. So the quest popped up, going to give us a little bit more reward. We get our first trinket out of there. And made a little bit of collection, gave us the warbands, which we don't have yet. But we can go ahead and throw our trinket on there, which it looks like we have 2 trinkets already. Let's see which one we're going to replace. Or no, there's the trinket. So equip, we have the ability. Now I don't like when they have the use abilities. I like it. For what? Yeah. What part, why it was on top was precision with my rotations. Yeah. So there is a drawback to that, Lith. So with the one button rotation, to make it even, to make it fair, the longer that you cast an empowering spell, the more powerful it becomes. Press and hold the key and then release. Oh, look at this. Wow. That is pretty cool. So we can just go ahead and rock a ton of targets together based on fire breath. That is pretty cool. But with the rotation, they are adding in a delay, which is kind of crazy. So if you are a top player, and I know you're going to love this, because if you are a top player, you're going to have the ability. I wonder if it goes automatically. Oh, it does when it's full. If you are an absolute top player within World of Warcraft, the rotation is going to be able to, you're going to be able to do your own rotation, and your rotation is going to be faster than anyone who autos. So the rotation is the skills and abilities, Quaden. So when you look at all of the skills we have down here, and when you start looking and building out multiple levels on top of levels on top of levels for the rotation, there is a optimal way to maximize the damage. That is the really, really big key to being able to be super successful within World of Warcraft or struggling. It makes a big difference on your rotation. Your rotation is what really makes good players good. Just like what Liz said, it is what makes the really good players really good, is the rotation between all of your skills and abilities. Because even thinking of myself as like a protection paladin, there are a ton of different rotations you have to run. There's a ton. Again, it goes back to a cinematic. I love seeing the cinematics. Even there's a bunch of our dragons that are coming out, and I want to call them draconic, even though they're not. There's some big dragons coming overhead. And I still remember some of the big dragons of old that we fought. I think this is kind of like a flashback cinematic of what happened between the war between the faction. Because I believe the expansion that's coming is the War Within. Again, I haven't started any of it, nothing like that. But I think we have to hit these 2 other crystals. Yeah, there's another player running around. I think I do have to hit these 2 more crystals. I think it's giving me, yeah, so 1, level up, boom. There's the fire breath. I think I have 1 more. The Fire Within, we have 1 more on this side. I don't know how I close this. I'll hold down, then release to cast. Is there another one over here? I thought we got this. Oh, I don't think we got it with the, yeah, so cast it and then refresh. There's another, and you can see right there, it says player. So that is actually another player that's right there. So let me see. So this has got to be on cooldown. There we go. Now we can use this. Boom, resets my cooldown. I think I have 1 more to do over here. Sinister Strikes in it. Yeah, Slice and Dice. Yeah, Onyxia. Gosh, I remember Onyxia. Wait, is that it? Do we cast 1, 2, and 3. So we've been casting 3. So let's cast 1. Boom, there's 1. Let's reset this, and then I have to cast. If I pay attention to the quests, it becomes a lot easier, because this one we have to cast 2. There's 1, there's 2. There we go. Now we got them all done. Unfortunately, we don't have any mounts. We don't have anything else. Can't use it on the ground. What's going on, Burger Bucks? Playing a little bit of World of Warcraft tonight. Hopped on a very, very old school account. AFK Arena got boring? No, not at all. Guys, I was just playing AFK Arena earlier today for quite a while. Did all my dailies, even with the reset. Did a majority of the dailies. So I just figured I wanted to hop on here, see what we can do. There's some dragons flying overhead. Coming in hot with the new quest right in there. Let's open it up and see what we got. So I know we can shift. So 19 to 30, let's go ahead and throw this one on. Reset the soar attempts to try again. 19 to 24 again, we have the best stuff on there. And then 19, 19. All right, so we're good. We have an item to reset the soar attempts. Learn about coasting. All right, so let's talk to the Obsidian Warder. Learn about coasting. Yeah, it's fun to chat. That's why I kind of wanted to hop on here. So we got the soar ability in there. So cast soar and soar through 5. Oh my God, there's the rings. Soar. Let's see what. So fly through 5 rings. Yes, I played racing games when I was little. Yes, I played Sonic with the rings. So yes, I can do this pretty well. Being able to move in games is just kind of crazy. Learn about diving. So there's our try again button. So I'm thinking we soar. Can't do that while moving. Yeah, try again. All right, so soar. Can't do it while moving. Okay, so we got to cast it. What does the dive do? So we see how it flies. Dive through the rings. I don't think there's a time on this. Looks like this is almost just kind of... So it's flying it through. I mean, you do that with your regular mounts when you're running through and doing all of that. Learn about advanced flying. So goodbye. Soar through 3 rings. There they are. Let's go ahead and soar. So you don't really need a mountain here. I'm wondering if that power is, so cast surge forward for a boost. So we're losing out. Second wind, aerial hunt. There's surge forward. Wow, so you can literally just fly. Before, and when it came out, when World of Warcraft came out, there was no flying. So again, it's kind of crazy. So practice soar. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So practice soar. Again, it gives us a whole entire different bar. Skyward ascent, going to go up. This is the aerial halt, which is going to be a stop. Yeah, that is pretty cool, guys. Literally able to soar through all of this. That's pretty cool. You need to map. Oh, I need to map the keys. Yeah. Mapping, I don't even want to get into all of that right now. Just for the simple fact, I'd never work. Oh, I don't make money or anything like that. I'd never work a day in real life. What do you mean you never work a day in real life? I don't make money or anything. Oh, AFK Arena. Yeah, for me, no. Didn't get boring. Like I said, we have to go. What do we got? Even here, guys, we can just soar and fly to where we need to go. There we go. So we can surge forward. We can go up. Trying to go, and you can see where this next point is. Looks like it might be up there. We're flying a little bit too fast here. I think this is where our halt comes in, or we just ground dive. No time to waste. Look at this, 509 yards. So again, we can soar. Yeah, they're really playing this up. Let's go ahead and speed. We also do have that second wind. So once we run out of here, again, we can kind of dive. That's what we do, old school. And glide is when we're falling. So we can actually glide out of there. I'd find some victims to extort. We have extortion going on in here, guys. There we go. So let's see. We got another item in here. Yeah, follow this guy. We have a lot of mobs in here, guys. Thinking I want to kind of, let's flame breath these. Or are we just kind of running through it? Yeah, it looks like he's just running through it. Maybe we shouldn't have stopped the fight. All right. Yeah, don't stop the fight. Or no, that completed the quest. Got more quests. And so on and so forth, guys. This is always going to just start more quests, until, of course, you can go now to level 80. That is where this all kind of comes to an end, is this goes to level 80 in the entirety, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, I'd find some victims. You need to map those keys. Yeah, it never ends. And that's it. So again, when you think of 20 years of World of Warcraft, the quest never ends. You go in here, you play this, then you go through here, then you start some dungeons. When you farm out some dungeons, then you continue and go through more quests, more experience, more talents, more specifications, more builds. Everything kind of goes on and on and on and on. And there's a lot of side stuff. I thought they were over 100 now. They cut back. So interesting enough. So let me log out of this one. So Lith, when I left AFK, or excuse me, when I left World of Warcraft, we were on level 70. That is where we were. And looking at it now, it stops at 80. But all of the heroes that I had at level 70, they cut back the levels at some point. I don't know exactly where, or I don't know exactly how, because when we came in here, when you look at this hero, this was my main hero, Calmstar. We were on level 70 when I left. And then when I came in, we were back to 42, or we were like 40, maybe 44, 46. So even like Kiv was on 70. A lot of these were already built up and built up considerably. When I came back, yeah, they had to at some point cut back on the levels from where they were and revamped it just based on everything we had. There had to be something. There had to be some sort of rollback. There had to be something that essentially brought the levels back because, like I said, there was a point where I logged in and I was back to level, I believe it was 48. I think it was 48 that it was kind of rolled back to see where it was. So this, again, this is the main hero. This is my main playing character. This is the one. Looked up on my shelf at all my, all the collector's editions. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's cool to see because even looking back here, like my achievements, when we start looking at world events, guys, 2010, that was Brewmaster. I want to see 2009, Noble Gardener 2009. Some of these, even reputation-wise, what do we got back here? There's 2009, which again, exalted with the Horde. I'm wondering what even here's 25. And again, thinking of classic, 2013, 2010, 2010. So that's 15 years. When we're thinking of this, guys, that is 15 years. I don't know. Feats of Strength, over 9,000 achievement points, was 11. I know they kind of summarize them, but I'm almost wondering, yeah, learn to share, buy your first bank. And all of the bottom ones are kind of newer ones. So yeah, even here, 2009. So again, guys, 16 years ago when we got bank slots, it's pretty crazy. I wonder even, yeah, 2009 right there. And I didn't think it was that late. Yeah, when over 9,000 was such a joke achievement. Now we're, yeah, 14,000 plus. Even these guys completing all of these storylines. Wow. Yeah, it's kind of incredible. Again, this is where Legion, we went through a lot of the Legion. Northrend, Outlands. Again, these were all, you know, way back when, with different parts, even both of the lands. And then Northrend, this of course was when we started fighting and looking at all of these. Yeah, kind of crazy. Again, I wanted, we two are geeked out. Yeah, it's just nostalgia. War Within, of course, we haven't started. Dragonflight, we haven't started. Shadowlands, we haven't started. Battle for Azeroth is where we're at, guys. So we have 1, 2, 3 expansions that we haven't gotten. Even looking at the Legion, this again was a lot of the progression that we made going through storylines. And I'm wondering even like player versus player. Yeah, Wrath of the Horde 25, 2009. Get an honorable killing blow on one of each class, guys. 2009, which is crazy. Going in there, again, thinking, I don't even know what any of these new ones. Warsong Gulch was just insane. This was even kill 100 flag carriers. This was the insane one. When we started going through here, even looking again way back when, completing Northrend. I don't even see, yeah, all of these we missed. All of these dungeons, all of these raids. Kind of crazy. Yeah, the raids, yeah, it was a whole way of, and that's it. There was a point where it was an absolute, a whole way of life when you were going through here, when you were playing this, even looking at legacy achievements. Yeah. Complete the Dreadsteed of the Warlock quest. First rule of Brawler season, you don't talk about Brawler season. Again, this is kind of crazy with all of these. Leroy Jenkins, there we go. 2010 with Leroy. This was Upper Blackrock Spire. Wow. Even think again, old school raids. Guys, Yogg Saron. Yeah, look at all of these achievements. Raiding is what we did, guys. Defeat the observer in 10-player mode. We ran 10-player mode. We also did run 25-player mode. Even thinking, Aldemar, yeah, 3-card garage going through the different battles. Gosh, this is a lot. There's even Onyxia, 2009, defeating the classic level 60 version. Yeah, we have all of the original raids. Again, this is what I played. This was the peak, really, of World of Warcraft, is going through here and doing all of these raids. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think, again, this long ago. Yeah, raids were insane. Raids were completely and totally insane, which was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But all right, guys, I just wanted to hop on here. Again, this is something that we're not firing up, that we're probably not going to play a ton of, but I wanted to hop in here. I wanted to see what it was all about. Being able to come in here and really check out the old school, again, reminiscing with the heroes that we had, reminiscing with all of the players. And again, looking at the guild, guys, we have been in this guild forever. It has been so many, even like Sab. Sab has been my guild leader. Again, even though I wasn't playing, it's been 15 years. God, 15, 18 years since we've been on here. Again, it's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy. But all right, so that is going to do it for today's live stream. I wanted to hop on, wanted to see exactly what it was like, and just kind of see, because I know there's been a lot of changes through the years. Doesn't mean we're going to be hopping in, because I know this is going to be a lot more time. I know my Lions Guild, when I hopped over, didn't exist, or I might not be in there anymore. I'm wondering if, let me log out, because I used to run with Artifice, and that was way back when, was running with Artifice. That's my original guild, and I'm wondering where we're at. Yeah, I just want to see if, because I know we hopped on here and there wasn't a guild. I don't know if at some point, kind of through the years, if they just... the Artifice isn't even here anymore. I'm wondering who is even the top guilds, or what are some of the guilds. I wonder, like, the big guilds, if it's even going to show. Moonlit Cats, Push Harder Peak. $457 people in there. Recruiting a Retribution Paladin. I have a level 28 Retribution Paladin. That's pretty cool. How they can really put in here what they're looking for. They're looking for Paladins, looking for... and I'm thinking it's showing up, honestly, because I am a Paladin. It's showing me for what they're looking. Holy Paladin, Protection, Retribution. It's pretty cool. Honestly, it's very cool to see. But again, guys, that's going to do it for today's stream. Thank you guys for joining me. Wanted to chat, wanted to check it out, see what it's all about. Again, just the nostalgia of what World of Warcraft used to be. So thank you guys for joining me for the old school throwback. And Lith, I know, as a fellow player from World of Warcraft days, it's really cool to see everything that they do have in here. Want to hop around, just kind of grind a little time, see what we got. But that is going to do it for today's stream. And as always, thank you guys for watching.